Welcome to No.Hacks.show, a weekly podcast in which smart people talk to you about better online experiences. Today I'm excited to welcome Eden Bidani, a conversion copywriter and messaging strategist at CAPE.agency and one of the speakers at the upcoming Women in Experimentation Summit. June 6th, you can sign up for free, you will sign up for free, and the link will be in the description. We'll talk about copy and we'll talk about problems, but of course we'll also talk about Women in Experimentation Summit. So Eden, welcome back to No.Hacks.show.
Thank you. Thank you so much. It's great to be here again, and it's great to be catching up with you. Excited.
Always great to have you. Always great to have you. So let's talk about the event first. It's June 6th. It's online. It's free. There's zero excuses if you wanted to avoid it. So everyone has to register right now. What made you apply to be a speaker at the summit?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, first of all, I think this is an incredible opportunity that's helping to champion women in a space that is traditionally dominated by the other gender, and there are not many opportunities that generally give a platform to help champion women. Even they might still be mixed, or they might be diverse audiences, which is already great and it's already a huge step. But in a lot of the digital marketing world, especially, we see, and related to that, conversion rate optimization and experimentation is still primarily male speakers who are represented primarily, and so it's really it's an incredible opportunity to have some really strong female role models. So it's not about lifting ourselves up; it's more about showing that the other women and other people who are interested in experimentation, that there is plenty of room to bring many more diverse voices and perspectives to the table.
Right, and that's where I see the value of an event like this. Is the first time that an event like this is happening. This is a big deal. It's not just, a 2-hour webinar. This is a full day event with, I think, 10 speakers total, Convert.com hosting it. A whole lot of incredible people were involved in making this happen, and still are, because it's June 6th. It's in the future, obviously. So what do you think it achieves for the industry? And you said it's traditionally male-dominated industry. I don't know why that is the case. I know it is, but it just never made any sense. But what do you think this achieves long-term for our specific industry?
I think it's more about just opening. I'm not saying that that necessarily some industries are male-dominated because it's come from like a negative perspective, where it's like it was meant to be, or that was done on purpose. Right. Socially, economically, times have changed. More women in the workforce, more women in there. So it's just about being aware that it's increasing the awareness that is there. There's a much broader range of perspectives and voices that are available, that all have something unique to share, and that can contribute to enriching the knowledge and enriching the community as a whole. So like, I'm not trying to say that, everything is evil and bad.
Not at all. Let's be clear.
50 years ago, something like this probably wouldn't even be happening, but not purposefully. Not purposefully, but today there is a need for it, because more people more women are getting into these places, and they want to feel that there is room for them to express themselves. So it's more about spreading the awareness that yes, there's so many more people who are off the radar, who are doing excellent work. It's about opening up that awareness and understanding that there is a much broader range of ideas out there.
And there is a much broader range of ideas out there, and people who are in this industry but are sort of the invisible part of the industry. And I think that goes for any industry where you show your face. It's the same faces that keep getting shown at every single conference, everywhere. Right. That's not a bad thing. They deserve to be that, but this is sort of an invitation to those who are in the shadows of let's call them the giants of the industry. And hopefully, and I'm sure it will, but in the next few years, that will change the blueprint of our industry.
Absolutely.
So let's talk about your presentation. Your copy is not your problem. First of all, you don't know my problems. And second of all,
right.
What do you mean by that?
So what I mean by that is a lot of the times it's very easy for us to assume that it's the copywriting. That's the reason why something isn't converting. Doesn't matter what type of marketing asset it is. A lot of the times you can think it's the copywriting. We know once you remove all the technical problems, maybe the copy is the reason why it's not converting. But there are so many other reasons. Once you start peeling back the layers, there are so many other reasons and often variables that are beyond the copywriter's control or are not even in the realm of copywriting that impact what's actually happening on the page. And these things come up time and time again. And so it's really not, you can try and optimize copy to death. What I like to say, it's like you can try and rehash the same headline, the same sentences over and over again, put it in ChatGPT, make it faster, make it more fun, make it this, make it that. But you're still just going around in circles trying to optimize the same thing instead of taking a step back and saying what else could be impacting this and why
what
might
else?
it not be converting. So
UX
problems, the layout on the page might be terrible. It might not be supportive of your experience. So the copy and the design don't support each other. The copy doesn't live in a Google Doc. It lives on the page in the context of, in the context of the page and the design around it. It could be something as simple as it's not the right target audience. So it's not converting, not because the copy isn't good, but it's not speaking to the pains of the actual target audience. You need to go back and look at the research and see if there's something that you're not saying. Or I'll give just an example, like a lot of companies I see write landing pages that target C-level executives. I don't know which C-level executive has the time to read a landing page and put in their email CEO@bigcompany.com and then hop on a 15-minute call with an SDR who's going to vet them. No one does that. No C-level exec is going to do that. So why are you writing? So why is the page geared towards the C-level exec? Why? So, that can the C-level is not going to read the page. They don't have time to read the page, and they're certainly not going to put their email. So of course it's not converting. And so things like this. So you could continually optimize the copy. You could maybe improve the page targeting, but you're actually not talking to the right person in the first place. Things like bounce rate. So if that impacts things like bounce rate, people don't read the page. Well, you're not targeting the right audience, or and things like that. So it's really there are many, many things beneath the surface that can impact the performance of conversions on a page. It looks like it's the copy, but sometimes it is. So it's expressed through the copy, but that's a symptom, not the root cause of the problem.
Very well said. Also, copy is a piece of the puzzle. It's not the puzzle.
Right.
Like you need to treat it that way. You said one thing that really caught my attention. Copy doesn't live in a Google Doc. Of course. Hopefully, it doesn't live in a Google Doc. It doesn't stay there. But when you're creating a landing page, and let's just talk about a landing page as a snapshot, like not even looking at the entire journey, because a landing page is part of something that happens before and after. It's not just like one page. But let's say you're designing a landing page. Do you start with copy or do you start with design?
I start with copy because it's the underlying information architecture of the page. It's the pieces of information that are on there. It's like, does this page, need to start from the point of view as what needs to be said on this page in order to get a person from their point of understanding when they land on it to, wow, this sounds amazing, I want to convert. Within a few seconds, within a few seconds of reading to by the time they've scrolled through to the bottom of the page. So you have to build those blocks of information first and understand what you need to say before you can actually design the page around it. A good copywriter should be able to tell you, here's how they imagine that page could look. Together, a designer can take it and, make it fabulous. But a good copywriter will write with that understanding of someone is not going to read this like a blog post from top to bottom. They're going to they'll scroll up and down the page. They'll look at things, they might rage click on something. How can we structure the copy in a way so that it's going to actually support a good user experience on the page? So starting with copy first is a must. It's always really clear when someone started with design first and then tried to make the copy fit. It's always It's
I think
always going to be there's always going to be clashes.
it's really, really clear. Yes, the thing you just said. So how do you, a copywriting legend, feel about people just choosing a template for their landing page and then fitting the copy into that template? Because I need a paragraph here, I need a heading here, because that's what the demo of the template had. 1 to 10, how much do you hate that?
50.
Whoa, okay. I would expect it.
There is, I mean, look, I know why people do it, and I totally understand why people do it. And in some cases, it can work when you have a really clear, when you've done tons of research, you have a clear idea of who you're targeting, or you have a high intent audience that is already really pretty well butted up by the time they get to this landing page, and you only need to put tiny pieces of, a couple bullet points, and that's enough to shake them to convert. Most of the time, in order to make an effective landing page, you have to have an understanding of which blocks of information need to appear on the page in the first place. Before you know that, you can't just pick a design and try to make things fit. It's, like I said, the copy doesn't live in a Google Doc. It lives in the context of the page. So the reader is going to take into the context of everything that they see on the page. If they see a headline and 3 bullet points, it's not going to give them enough information or increase that desire or intent to convert. You're going to need to give them a bit more juice than that. So just a pretty template is not going to do the trick. The copy is going to do the trick. But it's not just the right words, it's that amount of information that you have padded on either side of it as well.
Yeah, that's really well said. And there are very few things I dislike as much as template shopping and then making it work with the template, versus just starting with what you're trying to say. And that's what copywriting is, knowing what you want to say. But also, we talked about landing page as a snapshot. It's also about who you're saying that to. And like you said, if you don't know what your audience is, maybe don't start with the copywriting. Is that your advice?
Absolutely. You have to have a clear idea of who you're targeting. You can target couple of different audience types on the same page if they have a common denominator, if they have, as in they share a common pain or they both desire the same outcome. You can target more than one audience type on a page if they have common denominators. If they don't, you really need to keep it super focused for different types of audiences. It's enough as it can, in those cases, be enough as in specific word choice. For a UK audience versus an American audience, they will pick up on those things and it will really annoy them and they will bounce off the page immediately. So you cannot just duplicate the same page and expect to make it work across multiple different audiences.
You mentioned ChatGPT earlier as well. How do you feel about a landing page that says something like, get ready to delve into, or anything similar to that?
Yeah, it's very clear that ChatGPT has been used in those situations. There's certain terms and words that keep cropping up again and again, and I get it. But I get it though. I mean, I'm as a non-designer, I look at like Midjourney. I'm like, wow, cool, because I don't understand how it works, and I'm not a designer. So I think the output looks cool. My designer friends are like, and so for the same as us writers, there are cool things you can do with ChatGPT, but the output. Because the difference, and I think this is what's critical, it doesn't think. I think people have this illusion that it's because it's AI, it thinks, no, it's actually not true AI. AI isn't now a marketing term these days, it's been slapped on it. It's really, really cool technology. That's 100%. It's absolutely cool technology, but it's not intelligent. It's the illusion of intelligence. So it doesn't actually think. So if you give it, for example, write me a landing page for X service and it'll give you 10 bullet points. It will look right if you skim through it. But when you actually start reading through it deeply, you'll see like bullet point 1, bullet point 3, and bullet point 7. It's the same bullet point, just it's the same idea, but it's remixed in different words. And so those could actually be consolidated into one bullet point, for example. So because it's a probability calculator with words. It's predicting what should maybe go on the page, but you still need to go through it with a really discerning eye to pick out the bits and pieces. And if you don't have those skills in how to write, it's going to be really difficult to pick out the good output from the bad output out of these tools. So they are useful. Don't get me wrong, they are useful. You need something quick. It doesn't have to be perfect. You just need something, or you're struggling to get the words out, or you need something to throw ideas out and get feedback back to help your thinking. Like, great, there are so many good things it can be used for, but take it with like they say, with a grain of salt.
But you need to delve into the editing afterwards and then make it work and make it sound human. One thing I compared it to a few months ago, it's my mini viral moment on LinkedIn. It's like a digital comb over. Like, you think we don't know, but we can tell it's not real. Like, we can tell like there's a bald patch there that you're just covering up. So this is exactly what those LinkedIn posts and comments are. Like, it's kind of painfully obvious. So yeah. One last thing for this episode. I want you to invite the listeners of this podcast to sign up for Women in Experimentation Summit. So what's your sales pitch to them? You're the copywriter. Like, if anyone can do this perfectly, it's you.
Yeah. I think it's an incredible opportunity to listen to a wide range of voices and perspectives on a lot of different topics related to experimentation. There is going to be, you will have at least one takeaway from at least two speakers. I can guarantee that you will learn at least one interesting thing from two different speakers at the very least, like the minimum. And so those golden nuggets are definitely worth signing up.
That's the best sales pitch we can have. This is the copywriting queen, Eden Bidani, telling you to sign up for Women in Experimentation. The link will be in the description. It's on June 6th, hosted by convert.com. Eden, thank you for being a part of the event, and thank you for being guest of this podcast for the second time now. And to everyone listening, please consider rating, reviewing, and sharing the episode, and I will talk to you next week.